The Roswell UFO incident is known as one of the most substantial pieces of evidence of alien life in history. Many people view the Roswell incident to be the most compelling piece of evidence of a government cover-up on the existence of alien life. We will uncover the timeline of the Roswell UFO event and highlight why many people believe that it is proof of life beyond our own planet. During either late June or early July in the year of 1947, a man known as William Mac Roswell, who was a ranch foreman, noticed clusters of debris on his property in Lincoln County, which was around 75 miles north of Roswell. The debris was scattered and shredded across the gravel of the New Mexico desert. It is important to note that Roswell had actually found the mysterious debris in a period of time that some call the UFO flying saucer craze. During the summer of 1947, several flying saucer and flying disc stories had actually already been published in the national press that summer. For example, on June the 21st, Harold Dahl claimed to have seen 6 unidentified flying objects in the sky near Maury Island in Washington, then claiming that he was visited by men in black and told to keep quiet about what he had seen. This led Roswell to believe that the wreckage he had found was somehow related to the stories being published at the time. After noticing the wreckage, Roswell collected samples of it and made the trip down to Roswell, informing Sheriff George Wilcox of his discovery, who in turn brought it to the attention of Colonel William Blanchard, who was the commanding officer of the Roswell Army Airfield, or RAAF. The following day, the RAAF released the following statement: "The many rumors regarding the flying disc became a reality yesterday, when the intelligence office of the 509th Bomb Group of the 8th Air Force, Roswell Army Airfield, was fortunate enough to gain possession of a disc through the cooperation of one of our local ranchers and the Sheriff's Office of Chaves County, which in summary stated that he had actually recovered a disc-shaped object from the wreckage that Roswell had found, where they recovered samples and materials from the debris." Now, so far we know that Roswell had found a wreckage on his property and told the authorities about his discovery after travelling to Roswell with a sample of the debris. We also know that the case was taken to Army officials who claimed to have possession of a disc-shaped object from the wreckage. Claiming to have such a specific object after many people have reported seeing flying saucers and discs in the sky was a big deal. But the government changed its story about the apparent Roswell flying saucer many times, which is where the idea of a government cover-up comes from. The day after the RAAF released their statement of recovering a disc-shaped object from the wreckage, the Roswell Daily Record published a news article about the supposed alien crash and debris. However, US Army officials suddenly reversed on their claim of recovering a flying saucer and instead claimed that the object they had found was actually a weather balloon, with pieces of the supposed weather balloon as proof. The claim that you had recovered a flying disc from a wreckage of a supposed crash site is a bold claim to make. So why would they suddenly change their story and reverse on it after the press started to publish stories about it? This puzzled the minds of many UFO researchers who were skeptical of the government after their bipolar accounts of the incident. For several decades, it seemed as though the story had gone cold. It wasn't until 1994 when the US Air Force themselves released a report where they claimed that the weather balloon story was actually a complete lie. The US Air Force claimed that the debris and wreckage came from a spy device, which was made from a classified project named Project Mogul. They claimed that the spying device was actually a string of high-altitude balloons that were equipped with microphones. They were designed to detect sound waves at a stealthy distance. The balloons would apparently be used to monitor the Soviet government and their attempts of testing their own atomic bomb. Keep in mind that Roswell had made his discovery of the UFO crash in 1947, only a few years after the closure of World War II. Telling the truth was not a huge priority at the time, and it would have been easier for the Air Force officials to say that it was a flying saucer, rather than tell the truth about the apparent Project Mogul. The US Air Force claimed that they had given a false explanation of the crash that Roswell discovered in order to keep details about Project Mogul out of plain sight and risk the operation failing. In 1995, film footage apparently showing the autopsy of an alien body was released by Ray Santilli. He claimed that the footage had been taken by a US Army official shortly after the Roswell incident, which caused a new breath of life to the case. However, in 2006, Santilli admitted that the alien autopsy footage was mostly just a recreation of genuine footage that was now lost. He claimed that some of the original footage had survived, but he had to reconstruct it to make it seem more believable. There were witnesses who claimed that they saw a flying, burning saucer-type object in the sky on the day of the crash. They claimed that the disc had lost control and had crashed in the New Mexico desert, where Army officials took the bodies to experiment on them. But none of these theories could be proven true, and the footage of the alien autopsy was proven as being fake. Due to this, it was never made clear whether the apparent Roswell crash was real or fake. Even now, there are many conspiracy theories coming up with ideas of what could have happened. While it is weird that the US government changed their story plenty of times, I do think that the evidence being proved false is a very impactful statement on this story. What do you think happened in Roswell? Did an alien spacecraft land in New Mexico, and the government tried to hide it? Or was it simply a huge misunderstanding, and the case was taken too far by members of the public? Either way, the Roswell UFO incident is probably the most well-known case of aliens and UFOs we have. If you have enjoyed the video, then consider subscribing and checking out my other content. I post weekly documentaries, conspiracy theory videos, dark stories and dark fact videos.